Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on May the 12th, 2021. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. In terms of the data that's coming up here on Wednesday, we have a lot of, May 12th, yes. Okay, so we do have a ton of data here. The most important thing, actually, before we get into that, so we do have CPI numbers here out of Germany, and CPI numbers or the inflation numbers are going to be very, very important at this point because many central banks will start changing the monetary policy because of the high rate of inflation that we have going on. We also have economic forecasts out of the Eurozone. So if with the economy, with the lockdown easing now, economic forecasts should be better. If for some reason they are not, that would be a concern and we could have a negative impact on the euro. We have Bank of England, Governor Bailey speaking. So any kind of comments in regards to tightening of the monetary policy or increasing interest rates here will have a positive impact on our pound. And then CPI numbers here from the US. So CPI numbers very, very important here. Yellen had talked about potentially having to raise rates earlier, sooner than what they had Fed had originally talked about. So any sort of increase in the CPI numbers here beyond what we are, if there's a big increase, that would be a concern. So basically, we will see in that case, a US dollar go up, but the stock market drop. Other than that, we have crude oil inventories here. With the oil right now, because of the attack on the pipelines in the US from Russia, it's expected to be Russia. So there is a shortage now, as a shortage of oil in the south of the U.S., and that is concerning right now, and we could see problems arising from that. So that is. Virginia is where we're seeing a lot of problems, but we could see more problems or supply crunches in terms of the oil supply with the pipeline shutting down. So that we'll have to keep an eye on that. And as a result of that, the oil price may go up. So we'll keep an eye on it. And also if there's a drawdown in oil inventories, that should push the price of oil higher as well. And then that is it. We have current account here, which is expected to be higher than the previous number for yen. And that is it in terms of the major news, but expect a lot of volatility in the market because there's tons of stuff coming out here, which could push things around. All right, so let's go on to our charts here. We'll start with euro dollar. So euro here is struggling with the support here. We saw price go into the resistance, but it has failed to go through that resistance once again. So prices bouncing off of the resistance level again. So in this case, I would be looking for a drop here, but this is the support that is important. So we talked about the support yesterday as well, but prices right into or slightly lower here as well. So this support here is important. If price is not able to go through, it could do something like this and we could see a move higher. But for now, bias is neutral to bearish here. So today's candle close is neutral because of the rejection, but there is still some bullishness in here. So we need to basically see it get out of this range, and whichever direction it goes in, that's the direction we'll trade. But basically right now we need to see, can it do one of these or not? So if it gets stuck above 1.2120, then basically we could be heading higher. So we'll keep an eye on that. So right now, neutral to bearish bias here for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, pound did go up a bit, but it struggled here today. As we can see, price wasn't able to go through the resistance, which means we could see a turnaround. So watch out for this. So right now, bias is neutral. And in this case, as long as it holds below 1.4150, I'd be looking for a drop here. And target would be the first target is 1.4050, then 1.4020 back into this support resistance level. So neutral bias here for pound dollar, and it's likely to turn bearish as long as it stays below 1.4150. Aussie here, Aussie didn't do much either. It's still struggling with the same support resistance level. And now if it holds below 1.4850, I'd be looking for a move lower. So right now price is taking, just holding here. And this is where if it fails, we could still see a continuation move higher. So it's very important to see if we can if we see a break here. So it's very important for price to break through the support level at 0.7820. If it fails, it could be another leg higher. So watch out for that. So right now, neutral to bearish bias for Aussie dollar. New Zealand dollar, same thing. Today's candle close is neutral, but it hasn't really been able to go through this resistance either. So I'm looking for a move lower here, but it will be the same thing. We need to see the price drop through the support level at 0.7250. If it manages to, then we're looking for a move back. But if it holds above here, it could do another leg higher. And that's where we need to see a break. So neutral to bearish bias here for New Zealand dollar as well. Dollar CAD here, this one is also taking a breather here. Today's candle close is completely neutral. So bias is neutral. We could see a turnaround here. So if price goes to retest 1.2075 and holds, we're looking for a turnaround. So neutral bias here for dollar CAD. All right, let's take a look at our commodities here. So silver, silver bouncing off of the support level here. Price retested or tested the support level and couldn't get through. And now, as we can see, prices bounced off of it. So today we did see the stock markets drop, and just keep in mind, our silver and gold are both safe haven assets. So when the stock market starts to drop, these can go back into their safe haven status. So watch out for that. If we see a continuation to the downside, we could see these assets moving in the opposite direction. So they have been lining up to the stock market for the last little while, but that may not be the case. We could see that correlation going back to the way it used to be. For now, though, bias is slightly bullish, looking for a retest of 27.85. But again, it is in a range at the moment. So if it fails to go through, we are back into the range again. So neutral to bullish bias here for silver. Target is 27.50. And only if it goes through that, then we'll look for a bullish move. But until then, it may be a range bound move that we see with this one. So neutral to bullish bias here for silver. Gold here, gold did drop, and as we can see, price came into support and then bounced off of this level. It is still in a range, so with the big rejection to the downside, I am looking for price to go and test the high of 1845. But again, this is an important support resistance level. So if it fails, we are back into the range once again. So right now, neutral to slightly bullish bias. If it goes through this resistance, then we are starting to get a little bit more bullish here. So right now, this is range bound. So we'll see which direction this wants to line up into. So neutral to slightly bullish bias here for silver, for gold, just looking for a move towards 1845 here. Oil here, oil is holding. Price came into the support level here 3 days in a row. We have seen the price bounce off of this level. So looking for a move higher towards 66.70. This is the range it's been trading in. So we are basically looking for a move towards the top of the range. And if it doesn't go through, we're back into the range once again. So watch out for that range bound move. But if it does go through, then we are looking at 67.85. So that will be the next target. So bias here is bullish for oil. Copper here, copper turned around again. As we can see, just back here. So right now this is looking bullish, and next target is 4.84. So bullish bias is holding on to the highs, which means it can continue higher, just like it did here. Price is still holding. So we had a similar move here. So looking for price to go higher, bullish bias here for copper. Bitcoin here, Bitcoin still stuck in a range and hasn't really done a whole lot today. Is going sideways. Basically, I'm expecting a range bound move here from Bitcoin. Neutral bias, looking for a move between 52,500 and 59,000. So neutral for the time being. All right, looking at our stock market here, we did see drop. Yesterday, we were looking for S&P 500 to drop. We did see that. Price is into support here, though. So this is where we need to be careful because it has failed to break through this support. Last time it was here, or last couple of times it was here. Price failed here, and now we are into it again. As we can see, there is this pin, which means it shows a rejection of this support. So I'm looking for a retest, and if it fails, we are back into moving towards the highs again. So right now, neutral bias, and if it goes through, only then will we target the next levels here. But first, this is a big support level that it will have to go through. So right now, neutral to bearish bias, it turns bearish once it crosses once it crosses 4120 to the downside. So neutral to bearish bias for S&P 500. Nasdaq here, we were looking for a drop. We got that nice big drop here, but it bounced off of this support level. And now we have this big doji here. So at this point, I would be looking for a move towards 13,400. If it goes through, then we could see this inefficient move get filled and price could go all the way into 13,750 over the next couple of days. But that is yet to be seen. First, it will have to struggle with the resistance. It struggled on the way down, and now it may struggle on the way up. So watch out for that. First thing is this can happen. So 13,400 or 390 is an important level to watch. If it fails to go through, then we are looking for a move lower. If it does go through, then we have an inefficient move to fill. So right now, bias is neutral. We'll wait and see which direction it wants to break, and that's the direction we'll follow. For now, we have to be patient, and we have to wait for market to show the direction. So neutral bias for Nasdaq here. Dow Jones here, we were expecting a drop, and we got that. It's into support now, though. So this previous resistance acting as support. So bias is still bearish here, but we do need to see a break and then a move to the downside towards 33,720. So bias here is bearish. Watch out for the support where it currently is at 34,200. Next target is 33,720. So bearish bias for Dow Jones. DAX here, DAX went through our support level, and but it has bounced off of this level. So right now it's just kind of sideways here, hasn't really given us a strong direction in either or given us a strong signal in either direction here. We do have bearishness, but it has bounced off of the support level, which gives it a bit of a neutral bias here. So neutral to bearish bias. I will look for a retest of this 15,000 level. If it holds above, we are back into the range again. So neutral to bearish bias here. Only if it manages to go through, then we'll target 14,800. But that's a big if. We'll have to watch the support level here. So neutral to bearish bias for DAX. With FTSE here, same thing. We were looking for a drop. We got that drop, but price is into support now. This is where it bounced off last time. So here we are again with a similar pin to the downside. So with this one here, again, neutral to bearish bias, it could retest the bottom here and then turn around and go back up. So that's something to watch out for. But if it does go through the support level at 6,900, only then will we target 68.35 level here. But first we have to wait and see what price does at 6,900. So right now bias is neutral to bearish for FTSE. And then Nikkei did manage to go through our support level here and actually went all the way into this major support level. And now this is a major level that it hasn't been able to pass through for quite some time here. So with this one here, what we are seeing here is a bit of a down turn here. So we have a downward trend line, which means pressure is being put more to the downside. So if it goes to the support level, we could see a bit of a drop here, right? So that is still forming, so it's not a done deal yet. So we'll have to watch and see what happens at the support. Last time it was here, it bounced off, and here we are again. But it is putting pressure into the support, and when this type of setups happen, we could see a break to the downside. So bias is neutral to bearish here. It will turn bearish once it goes through it and holds below 28,270. And then we'll be looking for targets lower here. At this point, bias is neutral to bearish here, 28,270, and then 27,950 would be the next two targets here. So neutral to bearish bias here for Nikkei. All right, so that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading day, and I'll be back again tomorrow. Bye for now.